Good morning.
Welcome to sunny and chilly Tasmania.
This is podcast number 18 and none of us are in the mood. Us, you, me, the royal we.
Got 1200 watts coming off the solar panels though, so this is good. Thank you.
What time is it? 10 something?
The sun has hit the panels properly.
Oh no, nearly 11 something.
Oh, that's good. Go about my day.
I have nothing to discuss, I don't think. I've read the papers.
Yep, I've read the news.
Only mindless propaganda about Putin's latest speech.
Oh, haven't seen that. What's he doing?
No, nothing, just making a speech, laying out his version of events. Said it's quite interesting, again rehashing this at the ripe old age of 46, 47, when it's almost exactly the same as the bullshit that I grew up with in the late 80s with another...
Which war?
Yeah, that's what I mean, like another... and when before the fall of Russia, so, you know...
The words coming out of the area.
It was exactly the same. You had a
chest beating.
Yeah, from both sides, and a senile running America, and a...
Yeah, it was Reagan, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's why everybody gets upset about Biden, and it's like, Reagan was... This cheese had well and truly slid off his cracker, certainly by the time I was getting in politics, by, like sort of 87, 88, right at the end of his second presidency.
Still bizarre. I can't marry the two Reagans. Like, I just can't. Like, the movie star, Ronald Reagan, and the president. It's just weird. Fortunately, I was the
never...
The movie star bit never really comes in. I only ever see in my brain, I only see the Ronald Reagan as the president.
Well, again, as someone growing up in Australia during the 80s, I didn't really catch that many reruns of B-grade Hollywood westerns, because he was only ever really a B-grade actor. Like, he wasn't, there was lots of westerns and...
I actually don't know how what was the path to him becoming president? Like, was
Republican of California, Governor of California. So,
right. So
like all of them. Like, California is Hollywood.
Huge economy. If you can run that, you can run the whole country.
Oh, sure, there's that, but it's so large it doesn't really make any difference. But was he
always politically interested though? Like, even when he was a movie star? I don't know.
I don't know much about it. I said I've never read a biography or anything like that. But it was pretty obvious that he was in decline by the end of it. He was all right at the beginning.
Well, he was old, right?
For then, comparatively, not like now where you've got, they're in their fucking 80s. But old. The same. You would argue similar in terms of the differences in medical technology, from like 30, 40 years ago, that if he's... I don't know how old he was. He must have been in his 70s. Or certainly pushing 70, so, the last 40 years of nootropics and various brain chemicals might have, taken 10 years off it.
Right, so he was president from 81 to 89.
Yeah.
And he was born in 1911, so he was 70 when he took office in 81.
That's what I thought. So, it's not our first, what we call it, a gerontocracy, with the geriatrics running things.
Governor,
Because,
Well, there you go. He's president of the Screen Actors Guild as well for a few years.
Well, that's quite political.
So that's what I mean. He stepped up. Step.
But he was definitely... I keep wanting to say Republican of California, which is also true, but Governor of California.
That's what he says, 33rd Governor of California from 67 to 75. So that was 8 years as well. Well done him. Anywho. But no, I haven't read any of that. I don't think I've read any international news this morning. I did read the local news, and they were talking again, Tassie specific, the farmhand issue. So apparently they've raided.
I don't think it's a raid. I think it's more of a...
Seasonal workers evacuated from from Shearwater property after inspection alleges, in inverted commas, high risk to health and well-being of occupants. And I've read the article, and they don't say what the risk was.
I read an article yesterday, and I think it was around sanitation. So I don't know if it was actually genuinely an issue, like, you know, were they worried about the amount
disease?
The amount of sewage and whether or not that was leaking into the water table or something like that, where there would actually be a genuine cause for concern, you know, like everyone ends up with cholera.
Or you've got too many bodies and you don't have enough toilets. Is that it?
Yeah, and the other thing is
to,
like, for anyone that's been to one of these...
Because they're all Pacific Island...
tin pot little Pacific Island countries where, bless them, racism alert, you know, they live in carports. And it's great. And they're perfectly happy, but...
Cultural differences.
Yeah, cultural differences. Like 30, like a village of 30, they have like a great big...
Communal sleeping area.
Big communal sleeping area that's all outside. Good luck doing that in Tassie.
It's hot.
And they just, you know, chill the fuck out and play volleyball and praise Jesus, you know, like that's all those guys do.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out from reading this. So around 40, and there's, again, be specific. If you're going to do the news, can you please be specific? Around 40, and then they mentioned 70 people at the same property. Oh, no, in 2020, so it's an ongoing thing. But, yeah, they don't actually say...
Well, that was funnily enough where you say
threat to life. Like, they're using all the inflammatory terms, was identified according to the council.
What I was going to say is that I think that was one of the first things that they'd done when COVID was coming over in Tassie, that I noticed that, they were letting our Pacific Islander friends in to, like, pick fruit and do stuff like that. I think they made some... dispensations for those guys. But it's the state of the news these days that, you know, like, and the Tasmanian news when it comes to reporting news, this is the fucking irony. When it's a non-story, you will see stuff like, oh, it's a threat to life and, you know, blah. When it's an actual fucking story, like old mate getting stabbed down in Hobart or something like that, we can't discuss, we won't, you know...
please don't talk about it.
You know, sharing of these videos is criminal. Like, make your mind up, guys. But it's the same as everything with news these days. It's all...
Wow.
Clickbait and bullshit.
I'm going to click on that one.
What's that one?
Hillcrest Jumping Castle inquest cannot begin as WorkSafe refuses to release findings to coroner.
Yes, and if you and here's a perfect example of bullshit, that if you read the article, you'll find that it's a part of the normal process.
So it's just clickbait.
Yeah. Like, it refuses to do it. Like,
because it won't interfere with...
Because they haven't finished the... Like, there's reasons that because there might be a criminal prosecution as a part of it, well, they can't release it to the public yet. Yeah,
that would be a shit way to go.
Here's a free kick for anyone who wants to be the next Ted Turner. Set up a news organisation, report the news. You're not allowed to use any superlatives at all. It's a firing.
Have the facts, thank you very much.
Just report the facts.
Yeah.
So you would get your and it will make for much shorter news articles. So your other news, 37 Pacific Islander workers were granted alternative accommodation because an earlier enforcement notice on a property to install more sanitary facilities did not occur in time.
Full stop. Next.
Full stop. And then add other facts that was the farm waiting on approval? Were they, like what other things have happened? Clearly nothing, because they haven't reported on it or managed to twist it. Like,
had the council been given 3 different alternatives and they denied all of them?
Who knows? Like, just the facts, ma'am.
Anyway. But speaking of people dying horribly, so I had had both my mother and my sister contact me about a guy that I don't remember at all, who died on an e-scooter. And yeah, I think he was in high school, so I didn't know him. I didn't go to the local high school.
Whereabouts? Do we know?
Wilton.
Which suburb? Oh, how do you die on an e-scooter in Wilton?
I don't know. So I was going to look that up to see if it was in the news, because I don't... Yeah, they both asked, do you remember this guy? And I couldn't. But I did say to them, no wonder those bloody... Yeah, see, it's not even in the news, I don't think. I have
a article, if you'd like me to read it to you. Man dies after being flung from scooter.
Yeah.
Police have been told the man was not wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
Right. Police have been told that the man was not wearing a helmet. Not the man was not wearing a helmet, or the man was wearing a helmet.
Did he have a helmet on when he was dead on the floor? Yeah.
A man has died after being flung off an electric scooter in Sydney's southwest. Police say that the 44-year-old man was riding a scooter in the suburb of Wilton. So this is interesting. Wilton was never a suburb. I don't know if Wilton is a suburb now. I doubt it very much, because Wilton's right on the urban fringe. You can still have a horse in Wilton. Well,
yeah, you could.
5 years ago, you could still have a horse in Wilton. I don't know if they've plonked another 60,000 houses there.
They were trying.
Well, they're trying to plonk an airport there for as long as possible. It clipped the gutter and he was thrown to the ground. The man suffered a serious head injury.
Yeah.
With family and friends conducting CPR.
That sucks.
Taken to Campbelltown Hospital, good luck, in a critical condition but died overnight. Police have been told the man was not wearing a helmet. An investigation has been launched in the circumstance of question. A report will be prepared for the coroner. Is it even newsworthy?
Well, the only reason I know about it is because it's friend apparently
someone you went to school with,
but I don't remember him.
No, which I said, since again, as we've often discussed, that you and I come from very different backgrounds. 10 guys I went to school with were dead by 22. We went through them pretty quickly. We had them die at high school. We had them murdered in high school.
None of that for me.
So someone slipping off an e-scooter. Dun dun dun.
Well, they are a menace. I don't like those things. People don't. Yeah.
It's as with everything. It had a transitionary period where they were just like, you couldn't move in Launceston for fuckheads on these scooters, just drunk out of their minds.
Going up the wrong way on one-way streets in the middle of the road and not wearing helmets and multiple people. But now that was the introductory period we learned where it was free pretty much, and now they've put up the money and no one. You
rarely see someone on them. No. There were 2 companies in Launceston and now there's only one.
Oh, okay.
One of them moved out. Yeah.
The orange ones?
I think the orange ones went and there's only the purple ones.
And they were orange,
And because beforehand they'd had them. So it must be how they do it. They just like carpet bomb
saturate
a town and they're everywhere. And then from that figure out how many they need and how much actually get used, and obviously have an introductory price because you couldn't move.
No, like I had trouble walking on the footpath because there were so many scooters. And I'm not a scooter person. I've got a car. I'm an adult.
I don't think they go along at a pretty good clip, because again, I'm not a wowser with those sorts of things, but it's just a case of just limit them to 5 kilometres an hour. Just limit them to walking, walking pace or a little bit first. So it's really, with the exception of the weight of the scooter, it's like a fat man walking into you, worst case if they whack into you.
Yeah, not bowling over old ladies, because if you hit an older person with one of those, they'd go flying. Yeah, and if you run, if a big fat man belted into an older woman, it would send her flying too. But they don't need to go. It depends on what they're trying to do. Because if they're trying to be an actual, a medium length mode of transport that goes faster and all the rest of it, well, fine, they should be on the road. They shouldn't be on the footpath. Like push bikes aren't allowed on the footpath. So why something that can go faster than a bloody push bike? Say, are they meant to be on the road? Again, I haven't looked into them because I'm not. No. I've got my own car and I walk. I don't need a scooter, thanks very much. But I don't know, because they're both. They're on the road and the footpath, so I'm not sure where they're actually meant to be.
I think everywhere.
Because they're not registered, No. So.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway. But yeah, that's stupid. I'm surprised that more people haven't died.
So anyway, we wish his family all the best, and Vale.
That sucks.
But but as I said,
people die every day.
Yeah. Fine. You can tell I'm not really feeling the joy today. I'm sort of suffering from a little ennui.
Ennui. What was the only other thing that sparked my interest this morning was the supermarket statistics.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yes, do tell.
So they have done I don't know how it's a 2023 statistics, but because considering only in February. But yeah, according to the ABS, Australians spent $11.4 billion at the supermarket in November 2022. So that's the equivalent of $520 per person for the month. In comparison, that's gone up since April, obviously because of inflation.
By a third.
$464
compared to
April, and $520 was November.
Yeah, that'd almost all be inflation.
And then they actually break it down, which is interesting, into the difference 10%. Between men and women, their spend, and the different generations in their spending, and then the states per spending, average weekly grocery spend per household. And
they have a figure for the average weekly spend per household?
So, average weekly grocery spend per household for Gen X, which is us, is $187.
Average weekly household spending. Well, that's reasonable. We don't spend that much.
No. Baby boomers is the lowest at $149.
They eat less calories. Gen
Y is the highest with $197, and Gen Z $186. And Woolworths still has the 48% of the primary shop. So yeah.
I thought it would have been higher than that. That's not per person. That's per household. Per household. Well, that's reasonable. That's not too bad.
So yeah, I thought that was good. And it's interesting that at the shops, so Aldi, Woolworths, IGA, Coles, and Independent, the average weekly grocery spend is highest at Aldi.
Because you're buying a MIG welder and a set of flippers.
So yeah.
Two for one deal on ski gear.
How often do you buy groceries? More than half Australians do their grocery shopping weekly. And then the reward points programs.
I still feel like you go every other day, but mostly you're just scabbing around for cheap meat, right? Because you certainly go more than once a week, but your primary shopping is only once a week.
Yep.
Ish.
Mondays is my primary one.
But we're also going to shops for
But I'd have to do it for
bar
stuff, and if I'm there for bar stuff, I'll grab something else if I need it. But we're pretty good in terms of groceries, I think.
Well, that's what we were discussing the other day, that in the fullness of time, when I finish this road in, so there's an actual road to our property that's ours, not the shared road that we have at the moment, which causes much wailing and gnashing of teeth amongst a lunatic that lives near us who thinks he owns it but doesn't. And one of those people that complains if you don't help him maintain it, he complains, and if you do help him maintain it, he complains. May God guide the assassin's hand. So yes, once we get our proper road in, I think we'll just try and get everything delivered, and then then really you'd only be just going for having a bit of a scab around for cheap things.
I still like picking my own fresh things.
The plan will be that we'll have our own, mostly staples will grow.
I'm not growing pineapples, so
yes. And is pineapple a staple of your diet? It is for me. Yeah. Right. And when was the last time you bought a fresh pineapple? You fucking psycho.
Only a couple of weeks ago, actually. I cut it up for fruit salad.
Right, and the time before that?
No.
1987.
Hawaii.
Yeah, that's right. So buy a tin of pineapple like a fucking normal person. Jesus Christ.
Anywho, but yeah, they still... Well, again...
So she's going to go in once every 9 years for a pineapple. Apart from that, I think delivery might be more.
I still like picking my own fresh shit if I am getting it delivered because they fuck it up every time.
Yeah.
Like, I got zucchinis instead of cucumbers that one time. I'm like, you moron.
Well,
what is this?
you can't expect much from children these days.
No, so... But other than that, yeah, but it being rural too, it's different because they weren't delivering to us, but during the pandemic they obviously made an allowance and figured out that it's fine. They can find rural properties.
It would be interesting to know if you dug into the shareholders reports and things. I think you might be able to find out, because to me, surely they would prefer their shops to be fucking blind shops. Like, they'll just, is it more efficient and cheaper for them to be picking things from, you know, centralised warehouses and just have immigrants drive them out on Uber?
They don't have that here yet, do they?
Oh, yeah, there'd have to be. There'd be warehousing out near the airport or something.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Because they've got that in Sydney, definitely. I used to go past it on the train every morning.
Yeah.
It's just the Coles depot, which is, trucks and people pickers, no retail to the public. But if you go at, you know, any time before 9 and any time after 6 or 7 at night, the aisles are just full of people picking groceries for the orders for the next day or the current day. So, and night fillers. So yeah, there's heaps of people. And that's fine. I've had success with that. That's fine.
I just think you get your obvious staples, of which, because you're insane and you're, you know, categorising and you have lists and stock takes and spreadsheets and so forth.
I don't have a spreadsheet.
Yeah, only because you haven't really.
I had a spreadsheet. I don't anymore.
There was a spreadsheet 14 seconds before you mentioned it. Now you mention it, there isn't one. I've deleted it in my mind.
No, wrong.
Anyway, the point being is that once a month you could get some lovely guy from the subcontinent to bring out a truckload of stuff and like tins and all that sort of stuff.
They find us.
You know, bring me 20 tins of tomatoes and 20 tins of chickpeas and 10 tins of beans and all that sort of stuff, and then just fill it straight into a shed that I'm going to build and as a food store. That sort of thing I like. You know, even do it every 6 months and do it properly and have plenty of it.
No.
Yes.
Wrong.
No. You must.
No.
You're prepping.
No.
You live on a compound.
No.
Accept it.
No.
Well, I'm going to do it. I'll have my own food.
You do that.
I'm going to.
And
Can you see the mood this morning? It's wonderful.
Annoying.
Yes, a bit.
And then expenses Australians find to be the most stressful. Groceries and mortgage are the same level.
Oh, really?
I wouldn't have expected that.
Well, there you go. So you can see us grating over not mortgages. What is
Groceries.
a mortgage?
Yeah, don't know what a mortgage is.
Groceries, complaining about that.
Then the next level...
But only because I want to spend more money on... I just want to buy it in bulk. I just say, buy it by the fucking...
I don't have anywhere to put it.
Well, when we have somewhere to put it. We've got plenty of places to put it, but it's filled in shit. We need to clear things up.
And then petrol is the most expensive. I mean, stressful, I should say, after that.
Mm-hmm. When's the last time we paid for petrol? Can't remember.
I pay for petrol all the time.
Yeah, no, but one of our company cars, one of our companies pays for petrol. We pay
for diesel all the time, and
not for our cars.
For machinery.
Yeah, for machinery, but.
And then
not much though. We're certainly not commuting.
Energy, council rates, health insurance, and then my favourite, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down the list. None of the above.
Just whinging about money.
No, just don't find any of that stressful. Thanks very much. None of the above.
Right, okay. Well, that's closer to us, right?
Yeah, I don't think I find any of that stressful.
No.
We don't have health insurance anymore because it's a waste of money.
It is a waste of money.
Council rates, yes. Energy we don't pay for because we're off-grid. Petrol, yes. Mortgage, no. Groceries, yes. So.
And petrol we don't pay much.
Not a huge amount, no. Like, it is expensive. I can understand why people would be stressed over that because it does cost a lot to fill your frigging car up. And then they go, it's interesting the categories too. So after that, home insurance, car insurance, these are stressful expenses, credit card, internet, strata fees, mobile phone, childcare fees, car loan, buy now, pay later repayments, all those bloody afterpay bullshits.
And credit cards.
Private school fees, very important. Personal loan, public transport, and streaming services.
All these necessities of life.
Apparently. Oh dear. Anyway.
Learn how to use BitTorrent, guys. Because whichever streaming service you've got, it's not going to have it on it anyway. Just get really for. I think the best bang for your buck in all of that is a YouTube subscription.
The premium one, yeah.
Get a premium YouTube subscription for your family. Then
$14 or $17.99.
And you get music, all the music. And
no ads.
And no ads, and that would be it. That would be better than all the other bullshit. And then, make sure one of your kids is a nerd and BitTorrent. Spend $100 on a media server. Yeah. And then when you bought, and then learn how to.
And Library Genesis.
People don't read.
Oh, okay. All right. If you want to read a book, people don't read. Full stop. Does it have magazines on it?
Well, I've had one of our friends go, "Oh, I'm going to read a book." And I'm like, great, okay. What?
Well, this is the problem. People don't read.
Yeah, and which is my point.
Yes.
So.
Or BookBub. That was the one I started with.
Fuck, I've written a couple. I mean, come on.
I've got so many books on my friggin' thing I can't keep up. I try and alternate between trashy novels, actual novels, and non-fiction.
You're just reading Mills and Boon at the moment, mostly,
aren't you? Not reading Mills and Boon. But I've got so many
40 Shades of Barbara Cartland.
I have read 50 Shades of Grey. It's such poor writing. But she made $1 billion off it. She doesn't care.
No, well.
That's the other one came out trying to simulate that. Oh, not simulate. You know what I mean?
Emulate.
Replicate.
Emulate, yes.
The Polish one. Have you heard of the Polish one? But it's way more R-rated, off the scale.
All right.
Yeah.
There was butt stuff in it.
Oh, yeah. Books. So she wrote. It's almost like she was. I'm not sure who came first. I'll have to look it up.
Oh.
Because she's this Polish author, so I don't know who copied who, because they're almost
exactly the same.
Not in terms of story, but 3 books, 3 separate, that kind of thing.
Well, if you see someone that's made $1 zillion out of it, and you go, well, let's do the same fucking thing, and just put a bit more fucking porn in it.
365 Days, it's called, and it's on Netflix. So, yeah, bank.
Yeah. No, thank you. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
All I read is
sci-fi,
science fiction, and airport novels. Really.
What'd you buy the other day?
Oh, airport novels.
Airport novels.
A posthumous Tom Clancy. Tom Clancy's been dead 10 years and he's still putting books out.
At an op shop too, which is
op shops are the new bookshops.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
they're brand new.
Yeah, and not too old.
No.
So because
and how much did you pay for them? A couple of dollars.
A few bucks. Oh, I pushed the boat on those ones. I bought 2 hardcovers, so 2 brand new hardcovers. One was $4 and one was $5 for a hardcover.
Again, so some things are really expensive now, but some things are really cheap. So
and anything like that, like again, DVDs, CDs, books. Op shops really are where expensive. Oh yeah, well, back in our day, CD was $30 before they brought in parallel importing. How do you know? That's where this generational money comes from. You think of whichever family owned Brashs back in the day, and you weren't allowed. This you could buy a CD, the same CD from EMI or or Polydor or Warner Brothers or any of the big distributors. You could buy exactly the same CD in Thailand for $3.
Yeah.
And here it was $30. So, and can I parallel import?
No. Because I used to buy most of my CDs. I'd never go to Brashs and I'd never go to Sanity. I used to go to Target.
Same sort of price.
But no,
a few dollars cheaper.
Yeah. So it'd be like $24.99.
Well, that's why I've still got all my CDs. And this is me being, an old fart. It's like I spent
really good money,
thousands of dollars. And as one will observe, there is still a CD player there. But since I'm an audiophile wanker, it's transport. It's not a CD player.
What does that mean?
It means you're only using the mechanism. You're actually just using the laser. None of the electronics is actually being used in that to produce the
Just
music. It's
turning
just
the
getting the
thing.
data, and then the data goes into the
Right.
preamp with the valves and everything.
You are a wanker.
But-
I've never heard that before.
Yes, because A, I keep a lid on it, and B, it's thoroughly uninteresting. I've just bought... It sounds really good, doesn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm using that for transport.
Yes, it's a city transport. But what I can do if I want to be a complete wanker is you buy a transport,
A doodad.
which is a CD,
Yeah,
which
I've
is
seen
smallest,
that.
which does everything that does. It actually does less than that, and I bought that secondhand for $30. So I might be a wanker, but I'm a cheap wanker.
Yeah.
Where a proper transport, they start at about $1,000, and it's like, no thanks. The old
Cheap audio guy. He's good.
yeah
Is that
on
the one
YouTube.
Yeah.
That guy's good. So grab a cup of coffee and let's look at this.
Already heard.
Randy, the audio guy.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Randy.
I've got a cousin Randy.
Of course you do. They're all fucking North Americans. They're all named the ones that aren't named Keith are named Randy. It's just true. They're all named.
I've got a Keith
Yeah.
and a Randy.
All American men are named either Randall
Canadian,
or Keith.
thank you very much.
No, North American. They're all the same thing.
Anywho, they're my
Canada
two
is
cousins.
America's hat.
All right, well, that's it. That's all I got. That's all I've got to talk about.
Well, we've managed to do half an hour of quality, thrilling entertainment. So
I took my drone picture this morning. That's the only other thing I've done so far.
yeah, so of part of the compound it complained that you were going to run it into a plane, didn't it? So shh. So yeah, I doubt you're within a kilometre of it.
That's the first time someone I know may have taken all of the restrictions off said drone so that it can fly higher than it's meant to. Because 120 metres is the...
It won't even take
You
up.
need a permit after this.
nonsense.
Oh, whatever. So, but yeah, that's the first time I've had... Well, first time the person has had...
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Because I had that once when I popped the drone up from someone that we know.
Because
and
we
there was
are
a
actually
fire.
we are actually in a flight path here, pretty much.
Yes, so
but you would
I'm
not be
aware of
within
that.
kilometres of a plane here. By the time from the airport to here, the plane would be several kilometres up. And rightly so. One of those goes through a fucking jet engine, and you'd know about it.
Absolutely.
But
I'm very much aware of that.
but
I had that once before when I put my drone up, because when there was a fire over that way, you weren't here, and I wanted to see what was going on because I wasn't getting enough information of anything. So I popped my drone up, and I mentioned that to someone else in the volunteer fire thing as a passing thing. And they said, "Oh, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to have your drone up." La 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 la. And I'm like, oh, whatever.
the volunteer fire brigade is almost completely full, and the reason why I say almost completely, not completely full, is because we're in it, of just busybodies, wowsers, and fuckheads, and pyromaniacs.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so I was simply like, I put the drone up, I took a photo, had a look around, and then brought the drone back down. I'm not buzzing over the top of the firefighters or anything. Jesus.
No, and you're doing it over your own property, so you can tell them to fuck off and
Because I'm
mind
like,
their own business.
right, how far is it?
Yeah,
Do I
just-
need to do anything just yet?
Yeah, that almost is my answer to any time. You go there, you do the training, and you be quiet, because any time you say anything, it is the most clicky, bureaucratic
Red tape bullshit.
bunch of, as I said, wowsers and busybodies and curtain twitchers that you say anything. Well, actually, like all their sentences start with "well, actually," and you just want to stick your fist in their stupid faces.
On that note.
Well, no, I was just warming up.
Oh yeah? Great. I'm probably not in the mood to do that.
No, not really. So no, I'm just a bit flat this morning. So I must have ran 8k yesterday, and then did 6 rounds of boxing. 6 or 7, I think. I was so tired halfway through it, I forgot how many I did.
No comment.
And I must leave my phone away from that. Will also
Mine's there.
upset the microphone.
I'm gonna go and do a booze order.
Yeah. Well, I bumped into another. I told you I bumped into the owner of another bar that was whinging to somebody else. And it shows you. Yeah, shows you when I was getting the fuel, and someone was whinging, and he was doing the usual whinge. I can't buy. I go to Dan Murphy's and everything because it's cheaper for me to buy from Dan Murphy's than go to the wholesalers. And I let him let him run his mouth for a while, which was fine, and then I piped up and said, "Oh yeah, I own a bar as well."
Who was it?
No need to say them, but one of the pubs.
Yeah.
A decent sized pub, for here. And I said, "Oh, yeah," because he was saying to the other guy, and I said, "Yeah, he's completely right." I said, "I own a bar, and the wholesalers are dearer than the retailers. So you just go to the retailers, and even though you're not supposed to do it for
whatever reason,
obviously an agreement between them and their wholesalers, I guess. We just do it, and no one, you go in there. Yeah, I drink a lot. I buy, $1,000 worth of alcohol every week.
They're a supplement.
That one is, and the other one is a wholesaler. But
that's 100%. Yeah, I went through all the hoops to open the fucking
all these
accounts. It's ridiculous. All this fucking paperwork. Almost had to give blood samples. It was ridiculous. And then, because they wouldn't give me a price list until I had an account, and then I got the price list and went, what the fuck? All these fucking prices are shit. So, great. Glad I wasted my time.
And we did write back to them, unless you want to sharpen your pencil and be less than retail, then, why would I bother? And they just go, we don't care. Yeah, it's leftovers. It's leftovers from like what we were talking about before, with the days of Brashs and parallel importing and all the rest of it.
They had a monopoly or a duopoly, and now they don't.
And they're obviously, I think they're mostly doing distribution, and they're making their money out of distribution.
Obviously, because Lion's shit at it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know why. So anyway, so I'm going to do some more fencing today, I think.
I've got a shit ton of unexciting things to do.
And then go into town this afternoon and go get a lease off our new tenants. If they've filled it in properly. Be interesting. Fingers crossed.
Form. Fill in a form.
So we'll see how that goes, and that's about it. So not very much. As I said, we need to do some segments, and again, I think we've got in Tasmania today, which we do.
This is your thing. So what segments would you like? Have you thought about it?
Well, the definite one, which everybody does, is if you have an agony aunt segment, which is hilarious, and you get like half an hour. Yeah. They all do that.
A dilemma.
Yeah, like they ring in and ask for advice, and you and I could talk about that for one person ringing in. Oh, I fucked my cousin, and go, well, 20 minutes of quality putting shit on him right there. So, Starvy's World does that, which is pretty funny. Most of them do. Even Bill Burr used to do a bit of that. He'd have people write in and ask for advice, and occasionally you'd have his wife on at the same time.
To give a female perspective?
Yes.
I like her.
So,
she's smart.
Yeah. For an American.
Oh, God.
What's made me think of Yes Minister? He asked about St George's Island. Oh, surprised he knows what he is. Educated man. For an American. Come on, it is true.
Well, maybe, you should, whatever question they've got on whatever, you should take the same question and we'll answer it to you.
I did actually think that, but I thought that's a bit sad and pathetic, even for 16 subscribers at present. Because I thought you could literally
Come on.
You could literally clip it.
Give us something juicy.
Yeah. You could literally
Fesshole.
You could literally. You're a fesshole. You could literally
Twitter fesshole, if nobody knows what I'm talking about. Do yourselves a favour. Oh God, yeah. One of the funniest bits on Twitter. Twitter's a dog pile bullshit most of the time, but
it's improving. I think it is. I think it's turned.
But Fesshole's funny.
It's starting to improve, and I just think it'll only get better as time progresses and as they undo a lot of the bullshit. But the main thing they've got to do is be able to detect and not deal with brigading.
Yeah.
That's the main problem, where all of a sudden 40 people all get together and start, and it happens on YouTube and it'll happen to us eventually on this.
Yeah.
Where they all get together and cancel the account, like Tim Dillon the other day,
Did he get cancelled?
No, but he will. His
account,
Yeah, because he was saying, and now this is how he can do it. He's just going, I want someone. We need to be nuked. like America has to be taken out, and then he was being, what was his other thing?
Trans. Something Satanists.
Something Satanists. What was it? Your children will become.
Yeah, there was a third word because I kept saying, because he said it so many times that I was saying it. Something trans Satanists.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
And he was just going, and then he was saying that, yeah, absolutely, and he was just saying, I just need to get the fuck out of here for a month. I just need he's just obviously just needs a holiday. It's getting to him. But he's making so much money.
Where does he live now, though? Because he tried Texas.
He's got a few houses.
Palm Springs.
Oh no, the Texas. That's all a bit.
Oh, is it?
He's got because he was like going, we'd like to thank Joe Rogan for bringing us down here because I fucking hate this place. It's bullshit because Rogan's going. He lives out in the. He doesn't live anywhere near the city. He's got a lovely spread out in the country, and he loves it there, and he's there most of the time.
Well, the one.
He had one in Beverly Hills.
Oh yeah.
He's got at least one Beverly Hills and.
No thanks.
Well,
keep going.
I'm sure it's lovely. Beverly Hills. Definitely somewhere in the boonies of Texas.
That's
maybe upstate New York somewhere.
Yeah, that'd be nice too.
Because a lot of comedians have also got upstate New York, and that's the other thing, which I'm not allowed to go there because I might like it and uproot us. But like these
Alabama
places,
the other day, this one that I saw was lovely. Alabama.
Yeah, it's scary out there, but you need to go
and
have
in
a
town.
look. But you go an hour out of Manhattan, and you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And an hour
not nowhere, but
but you're in trees and like not much different. You're 10 minutes outside of a decent sized city.
Because the Hamptons is where they go from there.
Big bickies.
NYC to Hamptons.
I think the one that all the comedians were
2
in.
hours.
Yeah, the one the comedians were in was like I think is it Westchester?
I did not know that.
What's that?
The Hamptons is on the end of Long Island.
Yeah.
Huh.
So.
I'm not good at. I know basic geography, but I don't
then you
know
look
specifics.
But then you look at how much you can buy a house. You can buy a house on a quarter acre in fucking Queens for not a lot of money, and it's miles away, and it's like
Queens is nice.
You're on a train for 25 minutes, and you're in fucking Fifth Avenue. Yeah, like.
No.
Again, from Australians living in sprawl, it's you look at a lot of this stuff and you go, fucking looks alright to me.
That's half the problem here too, is we don't have enough high density housing.
No.
Make the cities, make the suburbs.
Well, they talk about
up.
Well, they talk about that. Well, the perfect example of that is something like Taiwan.
Oh yeah.
So they go, how could you live there? How could you live there? Isn't it ridiculous in Taiwan?
In terms of what?
Because it's such high density. It's like I go 20 minutes and I'm in the mountains hiking. I go 15 minutes and I'm at the beach.
Yeah.
Like, so it's all there.
Condensed. Really condensed,
and then
nature has been left alone around the outside, which is lovely.
It makes more sense to me.
Kind of like Singapore. Singapore's got a little bit of that. You can go mountains. And
Singapore's just not very big.
No.
But that. But yeah, like from the Sydney perspective, or you can do the Sydney perspective. You start driving you start at Hornsby, and you drive for 3.5 hours, and you're at Campbelltown, and you're still in Sydney.
Still just houses.
And still just houses and sprawl and shit.
Like LA.
Yeah.
LA is the other one that comes.
And that's what a lot of Americans describe. You're in LA-like suburbs,
and you need a car.
Have to.
Yeah.
Have to. You can't. You couldn't live in Sydney without a car. Even in, like, if we went and lived in Woolloomooloo, you'd still need a car.
Yeah.
I'd want a ute.
Yeah.
If it was just you and I, in Sydney, I'd get a not a 4-door ute,
just a 1-tonner.
A 1-tonner, so you can pick shit up. Because that's the other thing. As soon as you want to go and get something,
when you want to go to IKEA,
you've got you want to pick something up or anything.
Although they do deliver.
It's always but it's always too fucking hard. We could do it now, being retired. That we're going to deliver it on this day. Okay, fine, but.
Yeah, since they've gotten rid of the actual time that they're going to deliver and they give you a 9-hour window.
But if you lived in there and you worked for a living and you had to, you worked across town or something, or, like...
London, I didn't have a car, perfectly fine, different.
They've got public transport, haven't they? Yeah,
yes.
Sydney
high
doesn't.
Density, public transport. Yeah. Right.
Anyway, this isn't getting much done. So, broad-ranging conversation. Nothing really earth-shattering discussed.
Don't So yes, to think up some.
We'll have to think up some things to turn this into a show.
We don't know, quite 1 minute on. We don't quite know what this is yet, do you?
No, and you're not going to know for 100 episodes. That's why
Jesus.
it's just.
I need a drink.
Yes, you do, and that's why it's called Doc Day Drinking. Which I still haven't even I still have not even had a drink on this godforsaken podcast because I'm still on my stupid diet. Yes, but I don't think we should start drinking before 12 on a Wednesday. So that's a danger of being mostly retired. Could if you wanted to. You're not going to get much done.
Days don't mean anything to me anymore.
No.
Every day's the same. Well, in terms of I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, and move things around.
Yeah, it's hard life.
So today's Launceston Cup day too, which...
Oh, God.
So
is it?
Avoid town.
Well, I was going to go into town and go to the gym.
Well, the gym might be less busy because they're all dressing up and going up the hill.
Don't know. But getting over to... getting over to where our rental place is might be... I will not want to go over there in the afternoon and do that.
You won't want to come Mowbray way, no. You want to go through town.
Yeah.
Anywho, but I mean, like Saturdays and Sundays, half the time I wake up and go, right, let's go and do bloody blah, and I go, oh, fuck, it's Saturday, or oh, fuck, it's Sunday, all right, things aren't open today.
The only days that I have to think of is, when the bar's open on like Friday and Saturday night, that you think, oh, yeah, I'll go in there for a couple of hours.
So yes,
and hopefully if we have...
problems.
Oh, yeah, and hopefully I've got all my staff there this weekend, and I just don't...
Which I haven't done a roster for yet, and I need to go and do a pay run.
All right.
Probably should do that. Probably should pay them.
Well, as a cafe or a bar owner, we don't pay our staff properly, and no, we don't do any of those things. We're just buying our third yacht and second Maserati off a shitty little fucking cafe or whatever.
Fuck you.
People are well out of fucking touch. They say we're out of touch. It's like, no, we might be out of touch, but you're fucking delusional.
The generalisations too is hilarious, and some of them do fit, but we are not that.
No, especially not in a bar, because it's quite regulated. Like, the cafe is less regulated than the bar. You can fiddle fart around, but, everybody has to be licensed to work in it, and because, alcohol, ooga booga booga. Yeah. Anyway, so that's about it. So I think I'm going to go and at least do some fencing.
Go be rural.
Very, I'm
going to go be not rural.
Very exciting stuff. Do some rural things, and then, like I said, because the Launceston Cup is on, which is... I don't know why they bother, but... It's just another bloody... They're not... Are they... Is it a Group A race? It must at least be a Group A race. I don't know. Even I don't pay any attention, because...
It's Launceston.
I was in the industry for a very long time, and yes, the...
Melbourne Cup is the only thing that I've...
No, Spring Racing Carnival is the thing, so all of the races in there. And then Sydney's answer to that, like the Everest. There's some other big races.
Didn't even know. No.
Yeah, well, that's them. That's them doing the running from the Saudi Arabian playbook, which is we want to replicate what the Melbourne Cup is, so we'll just have another race and throw more money at it. So it's a bigger prize pool.
Right. Kentucky Derby, Melbourne Cup, and Ascot. That's it. That's all I got. Hong Kong racing. That's it. I don't. So what does this mean? The Launceston Cup
It paid for the house you're sitting in. You're welcome.
It's fine. Don't need to know. Group 3 open handicap.
Is it?
What does that mean?
That it's
a local race?
Just some nags. Yeah, it's some nags running around a track.
Run over a distance of 2,400 metres.
Yeah.
At Launceston Racecourse in February. Tick. Prize money is $250,000.
Oh, okay.
So is that decent prize money?
It's all right. Pay for hay for a while.
For a local race.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Track left-handed.
Which way it goes?
Don't know.
Okay. Oh, that's worth.
But it's been going for ages. This is the 159th.
Mm.
So that's obviously a tradition.
I've never heard of, well, here's where I'll be a wag and say, well, they obviously haven't brought any horses over. Well, if it's a Group C race, well, why would you bother? But
Group 3.
Yeah. You haven't brought any horses over, because you'd hear about when they bring horses over, because they kill them all constantly on the spirit.
I can tell you why they haven't brought any horses over. A, because you'd have all the regulations and quarantine bullshit, because it's an island, so it's not like you just moving them around.
I don't know if there's any particular horse
and
things.
Yeah, they fucking kill them on the bloody ship.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. They're
still investigating it.
I think some charges were laid.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yep.
certainly the buck stops with the captain on that one. But
I avoid it like the plague because I don't want to know, but I did see another headline the other day about the horses would have been in deep distress and kicking and blah, blah, blah. And
they'll die.
People fucking ignored them.
Yeah.
So...
Well, you know...
I hope you go to jail.
Nobody's responsible. Everyone's... Well, again, I don't know the facts of the case, but, you know, there seems to be a fairly high incidence of animals being injured on that
Lost
boat.
Or injured.
Yeah, like dog just not there, you know. Yeah. Like, not there anymore. So where'd it go? I don't know. Where are the cameras? I don't know. It's like the Jeffrey Epstein of...
I flew my 2 animals down here, and even then I had a moment.
No,
didn't like doing it. And at the other end, remember when we got off? So we flew the dog and the cat down here with me, and there's 2 animals allowed on a Virgin flight, and they'd previously killed a dog in the previous week, so I was a bit nervous. But we got off at the other end, and they were meant to come out first at a certain spot, and they didn't come out, and we ended up being the last people almost standing in the airport, and I started getting antsy, going, where are my fucking animals? Yeah. Oh, sorry, you've got to go outside and round the corner, and they're waiting for you. All right, cool. But yeah,
they won't move again. They're fine. So they will.
Bring me my animals, or I will murder you.
We will put them in a pet cemetery here somewhere, and that will be the story of them.
Anywho.
All right,
goodbye.
Goodbye. That'll do. Yes, I know I'm procrastinating. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yes. Anyway, but yes. Off you go, my children. Watch out for wolves.
You are so not with it.
Me? Why?
Turn off.
I'll tell you once we're off camera. I was like, tell me now. That might be the closest we've actually got to content.